Beta Club at South Caldwell High School. South Caldwell High School students joined some of the most highly ranked academic students from across the nation in Nashville, Tennessee for the 35th National Beta Club Convention. And they didn't leave empty-handed, okay, and we will soon find out. Rebecca Hall, recent graduate and North Carolina Beta champion in English, placed first in the National English competition. And we're just really lucky to have this today because they're headed off to college next week. Rebecca, where are you going to school?
Rebecca.
Julie?
We're heading off to college.
Oh, I'll be attending Duke University.
Okay. Even though it is one of the most prestigious universities around. Then we have North Carolina State Champion Natalie Hughes, a junior at South Caldwell. She placed first in agriculture competition. Natalie will be with us again one more year at South Caldwell. And recent graduate Jacob Draman, North Carolina Beta Math Champion, placed first in the National Mathematics competition.
NC State.
All right, math major. Okay, these are our three national champions. Would you like to get a picture? Okay.
National champions.
Okay, then we'll announce the rest.
If I can get the three of y'all to shift one foot this way. Awesome.
Okay, one for South. Okay, just stay there and we'll have your peers join you, okay? Then we have winning Spartans also included Jonathan Carter, 2014-2015 graduate, fourth place in the National Oratory Competition. Very proud of you. NC Natalie Hughes, she's a junior, she'll be back. Then Carrie Burgess, sixth place in spelling. And Carrie, you're a senior?
I am.
Yes. So Carrie will be with us one more year.
Or no, I'm
You graduate, okay. Where are you going to school?
Wake Forest.
Okay, we're very proud of you. And Levi Huffman. Levi placed 8th. Now remember, this is national rankings in creative writing. So congratulations, Levi. So Levi has one more year at South Caldwell. The South Caldwell High School Quiz Bowl team captured a top 10 finish with team members Jonathan Carter, Jacob Draman, Rebecca Hall, and Isaac Talbert. And the convention, and Isaac, do you want to come forward for that? Because Isaac's part of the Quiz Bowl team. Yes? And the convention invention team placed 7th with Carrie Burgess, Mary Anna Connor, and Levi Huffman. Is Mary Anna? Okay, she can be. But this is a great turnout for our students this summer, right before school starts, so we're very proud of you. And South Caldwell students clearly captured the spotlight with 3 national championships and 5 top 10 finishes, an impressive showing with the Elite 8 from South Caldwell High School led by Jonathan Hass. So we're very proud of you.
All right. Slide them down a little bit.
Let's give them a big round of applause.
You're fine. You're fine.
finish off this evening with a few money matters. The Caldwell County Schools Finance Department was awarded the Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada. The Certificate of Excellence represents the highest form of recognition in the area of governmental accounting and financial reporting and reflects a significant accomplishment by government and its management. Now, this is the real kicker here. I saved this for last. This is the 12th consecutive year that the Caldwell County School System Finance Department has been awarded this notable achievement. And David Johnson is with us. So David is the finance director. If he will come up. Congratulations, David, and to your team. David, would you like to tell us your team members' names? It's not Thursday yet.
I've got a lot of staff. That includes the bookkeepers at the school as
Yeah,
well.
that's true. Well, you don't have to name the bookkeeper.
I think they all after they realized that Jill would make me come up.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you all for being here this evening. Now would be an appropriate time. If you choose to leave early, you're welcome to stay for the remainder of our meeting, however. But again, thank you so much for being here with us this evening. We'll move along with the agenda. This time I'd like to turn the meeting over to our superintendent, Dr. Steve Stone.
And I apologize, I'm going to walk you through a PowerPoint presentation, but it seems that this board up here, this screen is not working, so you may need to turn around. And I want to spend a little bit of time talking to the board and to the public about the budget process, because all eyes are on Raleigh as we continue in the process of getting a state budget. About 70% of Caldwell County funds come from, 68% come from the state. So of course we are all waiting for the state budget. But a little bit, this PowerPoint presentation was provided by the North Carolina School Boards, the North Carolina Association of School Administrators, very quickly, so you have an idea of who is writing the budget. In the House, you'll see the breakdown of the party. You'll also see that the Speaker of the House is Tim Moore. This is his first term as Speaker, and the President Pro Tem is Senator Berger. He has been the President Pro Tem for, I think, 6 years now in the Senate. So you have a little bit of breakdown of who is creating the budget. The next slide will show you some of the differences between the budget. The governor presented his budget back in March. That called for $21.5 billion. At that time, remember, the state was operating with an idea that we were going to have about $200-300 million short. When the final year was in place, the state discovered that it had about $400 million more dollars. The House had the benefit of the new numbers, and so the House budget was $22.15, and you see of the public schools, $8.6 billion. The Senate had the third budget. Theirs came out a little bit later, and theirs came in at $21.47 billion, and for public schools, almost 3.5 or $350 million less than what the House had allocated for public schools. Looking along, some of the different perspectives of the House and the Senate. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because we are in the conference committee at this point, and these will be the sticking points. These will be the things that will have to be decided in the conference committee before we have a budget. And remember, we're operating on a budget now until August the 14th, a continuation budget. And once that budget ends, the General Assembly will have to have another continuation budget, or they will have to have a budget. I want to look at different areas. Under teacher raises, you'll see the differences between the House and the Senate, and whenever you see a difference, that means that they're going to have to talk about it. When you see something that both sides have, like that very first item, that's something that we know we're going to have. That's something that we know will be in the budget. If it does not agree, then that means they're going to have to talk about it. The first one is that teachers from 0 to 3 years will get, their starting salary will be $35,000. Then it changes. You see some differences between the House and the Senate. The House provides a 2% across the board for everyone. The Senate budget, it's an average of 4%, but it's really heavy on teachers first year through 13. Above that, it's actually less than 2% for most of the veteran teachers. You'll see some other things as well, master pay in the House budgets, not in the Senate budget, and a couple of other provisions. For that's teachers' pay. And then the next chart will give you a comparison between the current, which is yellow, and I think that's brown or something, the Senate's, and then the House. You'll see if you are finding yourself on that chart, you'll see which where you belong. But you will see that the Senate budget, or the Senate, is much better for teachers with 0 to 13, 0 to 14 years, and then the House budget becomes better. So the House budget favors veteran teachers. The next covers our principal pay, and you will see again in both there's some differences between the two House and Senate that will have to be worked out. In both, there is a step increase. There is a step increase, which is about 1.2%. But in the House budget, there is also a 2% increase. So for principals, it'll be about a 3% with the House. For the Senate, about a 1%. And then you see some additional things. Those last two bullets have to do with what happens when an assistant principal moves into a principalship and is actually actually loses money, or it could very well lose money. So that both of the Senate and the House have tried to address that. The next chart shows the benefits for everyone else. This includes everyone else. If you're not a teacher, you're not a principal or assistant principal, then this would be who this applies for. You'll see that the House is much more generous, 2% across the board for everyone, plus 5 annual leave days, bonus leaves. You'll see that the Senate, there's no increase for anyone, no bonus. The retirements and everything on the Senate side is a lot less than what it is on the House side. These are stickling points between the budget. So when the General Assembly has a final budget, they'll have to make some compromise so it comes out the same for both sides of the House, and that's the purpose of the Senate committee. One of the things we're very excited about in that other slide was that retiring teachers under both provisions will be able to keep their health insurance, because in the past when they came back to work, they had to give up their health insurance and go on to a plan that was less than desirable, but that Trish will tell you kind of hurt us. A big stickling point is the next slide, and that has to do with teacher assistants. And one of the reasons that I want to call attention to this is that the House increases teacher assistant allotment by $88 million. Basically, that is just simply a whole steal, so we don't lose any more teacher assistants. It's not really a lot of new money. It's just basically saying we're not going to cut you anymore. We're going to hold you where you are. The Senate budget, you'll see altogether this coming year, $195 million lost. The next year after that, an additional $166 million. So for Caldwell County, if you're looking at next year, that's 45 teacher assistants that would be lost if the Senate budget is approved. The following year after that would be at another 40. So over the 2-year Senate budget, it's a loss of 85 teacher assistants, and we probably have about 130 in the district. These are the people who drive our buses. These are the people who act as nurses in our building. These are the people who are actually teaching small groups, doing enrichment, doing remediation. These are actually people who are teaching along with our teachers. So you'll see that's the difference between those budgets. Driver's ed, the House reinstates driver's ed. The Senate, there is no money for driver's ed. The only good thing I can say about the Senate one is that it doesn't hold us to that $65 cap. It also means that we no longer have to administer the driver's ed program without state money. It means the community college will be able to pick that up and charge kids $300 or $350, whatever. So the House provides it back so it could be provided free, whereas the Senate moves it really to the community college system. A couple of other quick little things. Textbooks, you'll see the dollar figures there. Driver's ed, move ahead. Textbooks, you'll see there the House has a little bit more in there than the Senate does for textbooks. The next slide. Opportunity scholarships, the Supreme Court ruled about 2 weeks ago that they are constitutional. These are the voucher programs. So you'll see over the next couple of years, more and more money will go into vouchers to support students going to private religious schools with taxpayer dollars. A couple of other things real quick. The Senate does provide $80 million to reduce class size, and then $193 million in the second year. The kicker to that is, though, that districts would lose some of the flexibility of that ratio. So it used to be you'd had to have a ratio district-wide. Now it's going to have to be individual classrooms. So it's going to be a little harder to implement. And a couple of other things there. On this slide, just to call your attention to the second bullet, the waivers. This takes away any kind of waiver for class size reduction. That 1 to 15 that the Senate wanted, that will be in every classroom. It takes away that waiver, no teacher assistants. It also takes away calendar waivers, not for creative and innovative high schools like the early and the middle college, but it will really kill our neighbors to the north or to the west, the mountain counties. They will not have any additional flexibility for the weather. These are sort of the things that the conference committee is going to have to work through before they come out with the budget. Medicaid, tax reform, economic development, a lot of these things that are going to have to come about before we actually have a budget. The Senate tax reform, which is currently on the table, we heard from George Robinson today at a meeting. This is basically the way they changed the way sales tax is distributed. Right now, most of the money, I think it's 80%, comes from point of sale. That means for a county like Caldwell, we don't have the major mall like Hickory does. And so every time our citizens go across to the river to Hickory and spend money, because they have that huge commercial opportunity, people have more sales tax there. So the old formula is 80% of it would go there, which means counties like Catawba, Hickory, or Catawba, counties like Charlotte, the ones with the big shopping mega places, were getting more of a tax money. The new change is a 50-50. This is even changed from this slide, whereas Caldwell County would get a much better share of that money. So 50% where you spend it and 50% based on your population of your county. So this would give Caldwell County, the county, about $800,000 more, and each one of the individual cities would get some additional funds too. But that's a big tax reform. Go ahead, Kathy. Right now, we're operating with a continuing resolution, and that expires on August the 14th at midnight or 11:59. So the General Assembly will have to have another continuing resolution or have a budget, and it looks like they will have another continuation resolution. I think George was not too optimistic today when he was talking to us about having something before October, so something to look at. The two things I want to call your attention to under the continuing resolution: this is the budget that we're operating with right now. It simply means you can spend at the levels you spent last year, with two exceptions. One is teacher assistance. They subtracted $25 million in teacher assistance that we don't have now. So for us, that's about $200,000 or about 10 teacher assistant positions. So those positions are frozen until we get some word from the General Assembly. The other is driver's ed. Driver's ed is not funded. So when Jeff runs out of money, we run out of driver's ed. A couple of other things. The personal education plans have been modified. School performance grades are going to come out. They're based on a 15% scale. The next page, you'll see some calendar flexibility that's not real flexibility. It just basically repeats what we have currently now. The elimination of the North Carolina final exam, that is gone as well. This is the last slide, but a couple of other things to be on the lookout for. The lawsuit moratorium, this was introduced in the Senate, and basically it just says school boards would not have the ability to take to task and to sue county commissioner boards if they feel like they were unfunded or not funded correctly. That passed the House, the Senate. It's stalled in the House, and I think the House has actually said no to it a second time. Those are a couple of the things. I want to see if you have any questions. And the reason I wanted to do that, board members, is to just kind of give you an update that David is probably staying awake at night trying to figure out what we're going to do with this budget. And I know Trish is because of the personnel impact. With 70% of our budget coming from the state, we are really well into the game and much too late to be talking about having a budget. Usually you expect a budget from Raleigh sometime in July. And the other thing is they are worlds apart. It's not like we're talking 1 or 2 million, we're talking almost $400 million that the two bodies have to come to conclusion to. So they'll be talking about it over the next couple of weeks. And as soon as we have a real budget from them, we'll know what we need to do. 2 takeaways. The painful thing to remember is teacher assistants, if the Senate budget passed, they're on the line, huge numbers of them, and that's just something we've got to live with. And the other piece, of course, is the raises, the Senate plan being more favorable to everyone versus the House plan that favors beginning teachers more so than really anyone. Any questions on budget? We'll keep an eye on Raleigh, and I'll keep emailing George and Dan Suchek, our senator, and keep you informed.
Brian, could you email us that?
Certainly.
Presentation? That would be helpful to read more than once.
Certainly. We'll put it on our website as well.
Okay.
And it is compliments of the North Carolina School Board, North Carolina Association of School Administrators.
Thank you, Dr. Stone. At this time, I'd like to recognize our Associate Superintendent for Human Resources, Dr. Trish Johnson.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Dr. Stone, I have 3 items for your attention this evening, beginning with Exhibit 2. Exhibit 2 includes those usual and customary personnel items that are presented for your information only, requiring no action. Exhibit 3 includes usual and customary personnel items that are presented but require your action. I respectfully recommend approval of the items as they have been presented to you.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the usual and customary personnel items.
Second.
Any questions, comments? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Now looking at Exhibit 4. Exhibit 4 includes student transfer requests since your last board meeting. Since the July board meeting, we had a total of 57 requests for student transfers. Of the 57, 49 of those requests meet your established criteria. I respectfully recommend approval of the 49 student transfer requests. If approved this evening, that will bring the total student transfer requests for the 2015-16 school year to 484. I respectfully recommend approval of the student transfers.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the 2015-2016 student transfers as presented?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion we approve the 2015-16 student transfers as presented.
Second the motion.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And motion passes. Thank you, Dr. Johnson.
Thank you.
Next, I'd like to call on Dr. Jeff Church, Associate Superintendent for Auxiliary Services.
Members of the board, Dr. Stone, I have 2 items for your attention tonight, and both of them are lottery applications. Exhibit 5 is a lottery application for our QSCB 1 construction bond. It's our qualified school construction bond debt service, and that is part of the stimulus dollars. And I respectfully request the approval of the application as presented.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the lottery application for the QSCB 1 debt service as presented by Dr. Church, and that would be for Hudson Elementary, Gamewell Elementary, and Sawmills Elementary?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion to approve the lottery application for QSCB 1 debt service for Hudson, Gamewell, and Sawmills.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Second exhibit is a lottery application for our qualified school construction bond 2. And this is for Davenport Elementary, Gamewell Middle, and Hudson Middle. That was replacing the projects were replacing the air conditioning at those schools. It's simply an annual debt service as well. And I respectfully request that you accept, that you approve this as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the lottery application for the QSCB debt service for Davenport, Gamewell Middle, and Hudson Middle as presented.
Second the motion.
Any questions, comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Church. Next on the agenda, the board needs to go into closed session. Do I hear a motion that the board go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A1, and this is to discuss personnel matters.
Mr. Chairman, make a motion we go into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318-11A1.
Second.
Okay. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And motion passes. We will be in closed session for a
Few minutes.
probably a short period of time, and we do expect action when we come back. So we'll be back shortly.
Musical chairs here.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. It's a great opportunity tonight to name some administrators for Caldwell County Schools. This is always one of my favorite parts of my job, and it's an opportunity for us to have a chance to meet some new administrators. Tonight, I'd like to recommend 5 administrators, but before I do that, I would like to also announce to you all that I have made a lateral move of Kathy Barlow. She was the assistant principal at Gamewell Middle, and I have moved her effective about 2 weeks ago to Highbrighton High School as the assistant principal. So even though we will not be voting on that, I just wanted to make you aware of that move, and that is a lateral move from assistant principal to assistant principal. Okay. Tonight, I'd like to recommend to the board for the principal of Davenport A-plus School, Mrs. Kelly Smith. Kelly is a graduate of the Appalachian State University. She has been in Caldwell County Schools, I believe, most of her career, most currently as the assistant principal at Granite Falls Middle School. She has been a transition coordinator at Horizons. She's been a teacher at Horizons, and she certainly is a Caldwell County native and a very intelligent young lady, and I'd like to recommend her for a 2-year contract to Davenport A-plus School effective tomorrow.
Dr. Stoneman, I recuse myself from this vote for personal reasons.
Okay, so noted.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move, excuse me, I move we approve Mrs. Kelly Smith for a 2-year contract as the principal at Davenport A-plus School.
I second the motion.
And I believe that's effective tomorrow, if this is approved.
Tomorrow.
Okay, any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And motion passes.
Congratulations. And a little bit later on, we'll hear from Kelly. I'd like to continue, and now we're going to move toward assistant principals, and I would like to name as the assistant principal for Gamewell Middle School, Mrs. Monica Martin. Monica currently is an instructional facilitator for Caldwell County Schools. She's a nationally board certified teacher by way of Granite Falls Middle School and has been a teacher at Collinsville and Oak Hill, degrees from Appalachian State University. I'd like to recommend Mrs. Monica Martin, assistant principal, Gamewell Middle School, for a 2-year term beginning tomorrow.
Do I hear a motion that we approve Mrs. Monica Martin for a 2-year contract to be the assistant principal at Gamewell Middle School, and that to be effective tomorrow?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we approve Monica Martin be assistant principal at Gamewell Middle for a 2-year period.
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Congratulations, Monica. And I call your name and you're approved, you might as well get ready because I'm going to call you up here in a few minutes to say something, so be preparing. We also have a vacancy at Gamewell Elementary School, and I would like to recommend Mrs. Tracy Harris. Ms. Harris currently is in Granville County School System. She's an assistant principal at Creedmoor Elementary School, I believe. She's by way of Western Carolina, East Carolina, Garner-Webb. Her mother worked for Caldwell County Schools for 10 years, I believe, or for a number of years, and for a long time. And it's sort of like coming home for Tracy. I'd like to recommend Mrs. Tracy Harris for Gamewell Elementary Assistant Principal for a 2-year term beginning tomorrow.
Mr. Chair, I recommend that we approve Tracy Harris as new assistant principal for Gamewell Elementary School.
Second.
Okay. Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations.
And welcome home. I would like to recommend for Davenport A-plus Assistant Principal, Mr. Travis Gillespie. Gillespie? Did I pronounce that?
Gillespie.
Travis is educated by Appalachian State University. He's currently a teacher at Parkway Elementary School in Watauga County and has a lot of experience on their school improvement team as well as coaching. Did his internship at William Lenore Middle School a couple of years back. Has worked at Parkway, has had experience in K-8 and has worked with the elementary students as well. I'd like to recommend Travis for a 2-year contract beginning to be announced as soon as he is released from Watauga County.
Do I hear a motion that we approve Mr. Travis Gillespie to a 2-year contract with starting date to be determined, and that would be as assistant principal at Davenport A+ School. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we appoint Travis Gillespie as the new AP at Davenport A+, 2-year term, starting date to be announced.
Is there a second?
Second the motion.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we have one more assistant principal, and that is at Granite Falls Middle School. And I'd like to recommend Melissa Costin. Melissa is no stranger to Caldwell County Schools. She has a master's in school administration, UNC Wilmington. She was a principal at Watauga County Parkway, the same school that Travis was from. She was also a principal of Collegeville School, made it a national blue ribbon school, and lives in Caldwell County, has children in Caldwell County, and would like to recommend Melissa for a 2-year contract starting tomorrow as assistant principal at Granite Falls Middle School.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve Melissa Costin, excuse me, for a 2-year assistant principal contract at Granite Falls Middle School, excuse me, and for that to begin tomorrow.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes.
And Mr. Chairman, we are fully staffed with administrators now. We're going to keep working on those teachers and teacher assistants and others. At this time, Mr. Chairman, if we can have Kelly come up for a few comments, if she would like to make some. And a few is the key word there.
Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman, members of the board, and Dr. Stone, I just want to thank you for the opportunity that you gave me 3 years ago when you appointed me to Granite Falls Middle School. It's truly been a blessing working alongside Mr. Schreiber and all of the staff at Granite Falls Middle School. I've enjoyed middle school, but I'm excited to get back to my first love of elementary school students. I will miss them, but again, I'm looking forward to gaining new family at Davenport A+. And I just want to thank you for the support that you've always given me and the support that I know you'll continue to give me as well. And just thank you for the trust that you have in me as well. And I assure you that I will continue to remain dedicated to the students and staff and the community at Davenport A+, and to make the things that are going on great even better there. It's truly an honor to serve the students and the staff and the community at Davenport A+, and I want to continue that tradition of being an A+ school as well. I'm very much an advocate of integrating the arts for student success. In fact, my daughter is playing Jane Banks in the Mary Poppins play. So I'm absent my family tonight, which is very unusual because they are always with me. So not only do you gain me, you gain my family. But we had to divide and conquer tonight because she's across the road doing rehearsals. I also just want to thank the committee, because they're here tonight, some of the members, for putting their trust in me as well. And just let you know that I look forward to jumping right in and starting at Davenport A+. Thank you.
Thank you. Kelly, I think a part of your family, a great part of your family is here tonight. At this time, all right, her new family. All right, I'd like to, for Monica, come up and introduce yourself for a few comments.
Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman, members of the board, and Dr. Stone, I'm humbled and thankful for the opportunity to serve our district as an administrator at Gamewell Middle School. I remember beginning my career in teaching in the Caldwell County school system at Granite Falls Middle School with Dr. Burns as the principal, and I feel like I've come full circle, and I'm just so anxious to begin serving and just so thankful to be a part of a family that I grew to love in serving that school, Gamewell Middle School, as an instructional facilitator. That opportunity gave me the insight to know that that needs to be my home, and I'm very thankful for that.
Thank you, Monica. Welcome aboard. Okay, Tracy, you want to come up and introduce yourself?
Chairman Pinnell and Board and Dr. Stone. I'm just so excited to be back in Caldwell County. You just don't even know. Just north of Raleigh in Granville County is where I'm coming from. And I've taught many years there, and there is nothing like coming home. My family's here, and I know grew up here, and I'm really glad that my 2 children will be able to graduate from South Caldwell High School in a couple years. And so that thrills me even more. And so I have a lot invested in this school system, and I'm excited to work with a longtime friend of mine, and we've known each other for years. Sharma Frizzell and I have, and so thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm ready to get started. I'm ready to bring some of my experiences outside the district and maybe add some new things in that might be more innovative than something somebody's doing somewhere. So thank you for this opportunity.
And Tracy, just let me know when you want to get started, because we are ready anytime.
Anytime.
All right.
I've already been up there unloading stuff. So
Okay,
just
so
hoping
we'll
that
start
this
you
went through
tomorrow.
tonight. Thank you.
And I grew up in Person County, right next to Granville, so I know Granville County well. It's a great place.
I'm not sure if that's good or bad.
It's good. It's all good. It's all good.
Thank you.
That's why you talk like I do, or you'll see shortly. Travis, you want to come?
Let me begin by saying thank you so much to the board for your approval. Thank you, Dr. Stone. I'm honored to be a part of Caldwell County Schools. I'm very, very excited to be here. I'm ready to get started at Davenport. I'm really excited to be a part of the faculty and staff there. From what I know, it's an excellent school, and I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Travis. Okay. Dr. Burns, why don't you come to the podium real quick, or very quickly. The last item you have in your packet is, we want to put this out for 1 month comment period, and is Caldwell County School Strategic Plan. And I'm calling Dr. Burns because I know she spent the entire summer pulling this together with teams and others. So we have the 5 goals, and you may want to speak to the process, but I want you to look at this because this is just page 1 of about a
20. It's about 20 pages.
20-page document. But Carol, you want to address the process that we got here?
We have been working on this for a little over a year, and if you remember, you were the first base. You had the first crack at this. We were at High Brighton High School, and you remember a page that looked like this, where you had to put down what you wanted to improve. We used that page all year. I think every time Dr. Stone went out the door to meet with the group, we sent some papers with him. So we gathered these all year from the public, and then in the meantime, I think Vicki maybe is the only corrector. We analyzed every piece of data we had, didn't we? There is nothing we didn't analyze. So we looked at all of that. And remember, you voted to have a 3-year plan instead of 5-year plan. So here is your 3-year plan. And we were told by the advanced ed people that our plan was too large, too big. We were trying to do too much. So this one's much smaller. You see that those are your objectives. When you look at it all together, there's 17 of them, and if you put all of the strategies, I think there are 33. That's a far cry from the 63 we had before. So it's a very detailed thing. The only thing I wanted to tell you that was a surprise, you get a little surprise when you start doing some things. We were concerned about reading through all of this and trying to get everything into the plan. Wasn't hard at all for this reason. You would be very surprised, I think, too. It all fell into what the public told us, 2 things they wanted very loudly. The first one is what we expected. They want the students to have an excellent education for whether they go to college or go to work. We knew that, or we thought that would be there. But right behind that, I thought it was going to be number 1, was a little astounding to me, is they want the children to be safe. I think it's the times we live in. I thought that was probably going to come up number 1. never seen it so loud. So they want the children to be safe from the time they leave their homes till they go back. So we did have to pay close attention to that. I think that's a little bit of a surprise to us, but it's in the plan. So we want you to look at it. Be glad to sit down and go through all of this with you, but we have worked on it for a little over a year. We worked on trying to put all of this together, and all summer. So right now we're sort of weary of the plan.
Mr. Chairman, we're seeking approval of it for a 1-month comment period.
Okay. Do I hear a motion that we approve the 2015-2016 strategic plan objectives for a 30-day public comment period?
You mean the 2015-18, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I needed my glasses. I didn't see that 8.
Okay.
2015-2018. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move we place the 2015-2018 Caldwell County Schools Strategic Plan Summary on a 30-day comment period.
Second.
Okay. Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes.
Now, before Carol sits down, I want to let you know she and her department received a kudos from the Department of Public Instruction. They submitted their DSW. Carol, you may want to tell us what DSW progress report is.
Well, that's our
Designer shoe warehouse.
They received it, and this is, and I quote, this is a gentleman who works with the Department of Public Instruction. He said, I want to thank you for a job well done, that it concluded the Art Race to the Top grant, but during the process, I was very encouraged by the passion of your staff to help the children of Caldwell County Schools master higher standards and improve instructional practice. As importantly, and this is what I really like and want to commend Carol and her staff for, Caldwell County Schools serves as a model district. Model district, we hear that a lot, when it comes to effectively using a plan to focus its attention on improving student outcomes. So he congratulated the entire school system, but particularly Carol and her staff. So job well done, Carol. Not often we get, well, it is often we get kudos from the state, but it's always nice to get yet another.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, every year we do the superintendent's evaluation, and it's that time of year that we summarize some of those things. Dr. Stone has been in Caldwell County for over 9 years. He's working on his 10th year, and each year he has gotten excellent evaluations. This year's evaluation is no different. It is outstanding again. So we are very fortunate here in Caldwell County to have Dr. Stone here. His vision and commitment has brought many, many successes to Caldwell County schools. Let me summarize some of the board's comments. So I have extracted a couple comments from the board in regards to what they have indicated or said about Dr. Stone. What an honor for Caldwell County Schools to have such a great leader as Dr. Steve Stone. He is dedicated to seeing Caldwell County Schools become one of the best districts in the state. Dr. Stone possesses a strong goal orientation which contributes to the focus of our school system. He displays excellent leadership skills. We are fortunate and proud to have Dr. Stone leading our school system. His commitment is not only to excellence in education, but to collaboration within our community. He leads the district in keeping the focus on graduating all students and preparing them for life in the 21st century. He is a strong advocate for children, families, and educators. Dr. Stone is very involved in the schools and communities and is committed to providing the best opportunities for each child to be successful. It is apparent that he loves his job and is always looking to make Caldwell County schools successful in every way. So these are a few of the comments that were made by the board. So it's very clear that the board is very pleased with the direction of the school system and with the outstanding leadership that Dr. Stone has shown for his going on 10 years here. So, Dr. Stone, we want to thank you for your dedication, your innovation, your commitment to Caldwell County Schools. We're glad you're here, and we just need to keep you for another 10 years.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. And let me tell you, it is so hot right here. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm about to burn up. But no, it is indeed my honor to be in Caldwell County Schools. But I do want to say that the success of Caldwell County Schools rests every day in the classrooms and the people who are making that happen. So this is a good district because of what goes on in those classrooms. And I just happen to be very fortunate to be the superintendent and get to work with such a great group of folks. There is no better place than Caldwell County, and truly that is what's happening in the classroom. That's what's happening on that school bus and those offices. And again, I'm just extremely blessed and fortunate to be in Caldwell County, and I thank you for the opportunity, and I thank our community for giving me the opportunity to be here, because it truly is a wonderful place to be. And I just thank you for your trust. I thank you for your support. And thank you just for the opportunity to be in a little bit of heaven right here in Caldwell County. Thank you.
Before announcements, any other items that or anything anyone wants to comment on? We do want to congratulate the new administrators. We're happy you're here and look forward to your working in our school system. As I indicated at the beginning of the meeting, so I could tell those that left early, don't forget on August 23rd, the William Lenoir Middle School will be open from 2 to 4 in the afternoon, open house. The next day, the first students will go through the doors of that first ever Caldwell County Middle School. First middle school that has ever been built for that purpose in Caldwell County. First, go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you to Dr. Burns and all district leadership for that safety summit last week. And it just falls right in line with the strategic plan and what our focus is and what parents care about most, keeping children safe. And we heard lots of positive comments from law enforcement and other agencies who were a part of that. But thank you to everyone who had a part in making that happen. Libby Brown, Jill Duffy, and everyone. It was it's great to put that focus out front to keep it on the minds of everyone.
Very good, very good. Any other comments or announcements? We do have our first day of school 2 weeks from today, the 24th, and that's for the traditional schools. And our next school board meeting will be here in the boardroom on September the 14th. And we will have an art gallery reception beginning at 5:45 with the general meeting being at 6 o'clock. Do I hear a motion that we adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Have a great evening and a great school year.
Okay.